Scorpio. It's almost season. It's almost due time. And I think you're feeling it. I think especially your body's feeling it. Another year, another layer, another shedding, another gaining, another you name it. And there is a lot that wants to make its way to you. If you're not feeling this already, Virgo season kind of showed you where, this is so interesting, Libra got the same card in the same place, the Hermit. So, very different reading though. So, there is a lot you don't have to work for right now. So, yes, you like a challenge, you like to work for things, and you like to have your luxuries, you like to have your comfort, right? When there's an influx of good, especially with fixed signs, there's always this tendency to overindulge, perhaps. You don't need to. I think you're getting a rush of what it's like to be and to see what it can be like to be completely fulfilled in your life. What I'm gathering here, and what the cards are saying to you, is that the reason why there's an extra emphasis on the surroundings in your life and how you handle things. You guys are fantastic at feeling it, like being really clear with how you're handling things in each moment. No problem. However, there's a fulfillment that comes when you, even if you don't know what to do, you can handle what's coming to you. So in order for these things to make its way through to you, what the Hermit and what Virgo season showed you during this time is, yes, you may want a family. Some of you are sensitive to getting pregnant right now, or are having sensitivities around that time in your life, and even just vulnerabilities about you understanding that you may want a family if you don't have one. And if you do, you're understanding how much of a deep impact it makes on you and who you once were, and how that framed who you are now. And this beauty is coming from, and this light is coming from, and this very clear switch that was flipped is that certain things need to be ready. Your body, so if in order to conceive in a certain extent, depending on the person, your body must be ready. It must be fertile. There must be fertile ground. Well, your life is quite the fertile ground right now. And I apologize if there are sensitivities in that area of your life. I really am not meaning to trigger any of those things, but those things are being brought to attention. What's being even more, because you're, starting to, after another year of life, as much as we want to escape constructs or not feel like we are totally entangled by them, something that you're really aware of is that the energy that persists in the years, that each year that moves along, you understand that there's a cultural energy to each one of them. You understand that even because you see to the depth of them, you see where they came from, where they're stemming from. And this year it's bringing you, in this season, it's bringing you through your own personal journey. It's a beautiful one. It's a time to be very, at least in the Venusian eyes, right? We're also having an eclipse in your sign, and in the very near future, and that is going to be also very life altering. You see what it takes to be fulfilled for you in your life. What does that mean? What do you know? What do you gather? The more that you find yourself in these moments in between maybe work or your day-to-day life, you find yourself feeling this attraction. Yes, we're in Libra season. Everyone loves a Libra, but there's something so attractive about you right now. And I think something about Libra as of recently, or the more matured or learned Libra, is that they don't mind sharing the stage. So at this stage of your life, you're being shown where it is that this is a very fulfilling time for you. You need to remember this. You need to remember the things and the passing thoughts through your head. There's no need to hold on. But it reminds you of how clearly you can become extremely committed to a path or a project or something that can completely change your life. And what just a simple ounce of your energy you're reminded this month of, almost like reflecting upon what this engaging with this energy, even though you can become lethargic at times, this time in life, I meant this season in life. So Virgo season really got to the mix of some things, but it didn't hurt you, it didn't break you, it just showed you some things that are really important and need to be addressed. And you address them. You get regardless of how it got there, you got there. Boom, doesn't matter, you got there. I know sometimes Virgos can tend to push people a little bit too much, but you know what? Sometimes that's why they do what they do. And that's why you bring people down, even if they don't want to go there sometimes. And that's actually finding you exactly where you need to be. So what you're finding is that the more you address these things, the more clear things become, the more that comes to you. No problems. With ease, things come to you. There's a realization that I just realized I didn't do. Okay, interesting. Sorry, I just had a thought. I realized I didn't do something that I normally do, but you are committing to making something that gives you so much energy, even passion, turning it into something that brings all of your skills and all of your knowledge together, very Sagittarian. So bringing all of these things, and Mercury in Virgo, actually Mercury is in Libra, I apologize right now, I'm just reading this out. Now Mercury's in Virgo, it will enter Libra, on the 29th, and then re-enter Virgo on the 2nd. So in between this time, you're being asked to recommit, re-recognize, and each time you realize why. You realize what makes you do that, what makes you recognize, what makes you realize, what makes you go back, or what makes you recommit to these things, and it's that it's your way of life. This is not something that it's something that you just live by. You know, you can talk about it, but you also live by it. And with a proper amount of rest and receptivity, which I know can be difficult at times, you will get exactly what you need coming to you. So there could be a Taurus in your life or a person in your life that just shows up right when you need them to and wants the same things you do, and you can fill these cups together. Possibility. And it is quick. You may find that you want a family with them quick, and you're realizing all of these things, and then you could get overcommitment, over enter yourself. But if you realize that this passion, this sexuality, and this overemphasis of love comes from you knowing what you want, then what's the rush? Do your thing, be yourself as always, but this season is not a season to rush. You're going to be going a little back and forth. And then you may realize that, just like this reminds me of the Hanged Man a little bit, the Four of Swords here, is that the more you understand that sometimes the magic of Libra season is being present, being with life, and then letting things show up for you. That can happen very easily. That can be implemented into your philosophy and whatever you're bringing together, whatever possible passion or person or mutual. I think that some of this is work. For a lot of you, it's career, like a career, not just work, but something that you really feel that regardless if you ever become extremely successful, but just a side note, anything a Scorpio does, you can become successful at. It's really not that hard for you, but you put all you got into it. So but you know how to play with what you have when you get there. It's just important not to play in a way that is beyond where you really are. So seeing reality is very important for you as well. And that's why this Knight of Wands is pulling me in so much, because the more that you realize how much you can handle is that how much more power you feel like you can have. The reason why I'm touching down here is because in the very simple terms of like chakra or the things that you relate to, is that Scorpio rules the sex organs, and that's a lot of energy. Just think about the act in itself, which is a whole other topic. This is very much surface level, but if you can really break it down, which we will in the second part, sorry I didn't say this before, second part / extended will be a link below on Patreon where we go through this in more in depth than I'm even saying it now, even though it's pretty clear that we're really hitting some good levels here. And then information to work with me one-on-one is also below, as well as more things like a podcast episode will be coming out soon. So essentially you need to absorb this idea as you construct it. It's not something that you're gonna have a clear plan for right away, because the light's still kind of in your face right now. Towards your season, it will become a lot clearer, and then you can go like, again, be careful if it's a relationship, because you could go overboard with it depending on how you're really doing, right? This can be gauged depending on how you're really doing. That's why general readings are kind of nice, because you see how the collective is regardless of the level. Like some things that I'm being very emphasizing more are going to be for some of you. However, that emphasis for some of you will be toned down, and that's how I see things. So this is changing your entire life. By your season, so much is shifting. So it's like seeing a scene where someone is so relaxed, but the whole, like, whatever's behind them is just crumbling down. It's so Virgo. Like, it's so what happened in Virgo season, but it's happening to you throughout this month in a way that seems a little more gentle. It's not going to be without some feeling, but that feeling is more electricity. You have so much to gain this month from especially the people you actually end up interacting with, who you really engage with this month. Even if it's through small conversations, you feel the transmutation when something is really bouncing off each other, and that's actually going to linger throughout this season, and you may not think of it until we get to the more intimate part, which is your season. But the more you go through those layers, you realize that you have a lot to work with. And if it's in a job or a career that you're in now, you may want to present something to someone, and you're getting very clear on it, but you know it still has work to do. But you may want to practice on someone, or saying it out loud, even just talking to yourself might get you to where you want to be. And it's even maybe you really need to talk and hype yourself up. So it's like, why the fuck not? So this is all, there's a big, not that you're ever afraid of being too much or a lot, and you're never afraid of that unless you're someone who has been suppressed with that. This is a month not to be afraid of that, and doing your best to like let it fucking happen, because right from the get-go things are just flowing. Yeah, and then we have Mars and Gemini. We have a lot lighting up in your life, and Venus moves into Libra as well. So much is in Libra. Venus moves into Libra on the 29th. Excuse me. Mercury doesn't move into Libra just yet. Anyway, sorry. The notes are not helping, but we just know that that's going to be helping. Sometimes intuition is just my key, as you guys know. Sometimes it's just the way. The key here is that when everything begins to shift and feel like things are falling apart, it's important to feel what's being broken through on the other side this month. It's important to get in touch with that part of yourself that feels the warmth of the water about to rush its way in the moment we get to your season. And that's more of the point. this month, because it's the season just preparing you for what is going to continue to work its way through your life next month. And you may have grand moments of reflection, even just in the past year with having all the eclipses in your life. However, I definitely advise that for you to allow that to seep in over months of time, because the eclipses don't end until your season, so they're still ongoing. However, you might have a lot of attuned awareness to the future of that, whether you claim to be psychic or not. Having those feelers, you just know. You know that something big is coming, and it's something you've been waiting for, especially for those of you who have been one foot in, one foot out, even in terms of caring for what you need to care for in order to have the kind of relationship, career that you want to have. Venus is going to be entering Libra at some point this month. I thought I wrote those out clearly. And regardless of what people say about Libras, sometimes the decision isn't clear until there's the right thing for me or for you in front of me to make the decision on. You know, it's like dating until you find that person that you really click with, and for some reason you want to open their life to you. Whether it's, you know, it depends. Like if you've gone through those moments, and if you've gone through some of the inner turmoil or the trauma, or like just learning who you are as that kind of person, but also learning to be playful at the same time and still be yourself and bring that all into a relationship. And regardless if it turns out to be the best thing or a very big teachable moment, it's very important for you to see it. This is both. This feels like something, you're entering a time where you're almost surprised at the amount of positive influence that's coming your way, and the things that are being built with you, for you, and have already been kind of waiting for you to get there. And I'll speak more on that in this next part. All right, Scorpio, happy birthday to the early ones, and we'll see you in your season. Oh, all information to work with me is below, and one-on-one. Sorry to cut that through, but that's how I'm doing things. Like halfway through, I'll just talk about it. I mean to do it in the beginning, but sometimes it just, the energy pulls me in. So it is what it is. All right. See you next month.